Hello and welcome to this session. We're going to be looking at shapes today. I'm going to be asking you to actually go out into the environment around you. So we're talking about your house, your flat, maybe go out into your garden. And you're going to be actually having a little look for different shapes that are in the environment. So your task today will be to identify shapes within the environment, which is your environment is the area around you at the moment. Just to be aware that there are shapes all around us, and I'm going to give you a little example of that in a moment. And generally what people think is that if something is made by human beings, then it will almost always have, and this has been really deliberately designed not to have it, it will have a mathematical shape in it. There are certain shapes that are used when things are constructed because they will make things much stronger, and that might be a little thing actually for some of you to see if you can think about, see if you can actually research and identify what shape is it that is used in construction that makes things a lot stronger. Anyone who's been in my class and has actually made some of our bridges and done some of our bridge challenges and our tower challenges using art straws should hopefully remember this one here. But there is a very particular shape, and we will be talking about it today, that is used in construction to make things much stronger. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all is we are going to actually identify, looking at some of these shapes before we try and look at them around us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a few moments, see if you can actually identify this shape for me. So anyone have a little look, so have a look at the screen, see if you can identify what this shape is. Okay, so we actually have some key facts that we can look at regarding this shape. So if you were able to say that this was a triangle, well done. So try, another word for free. Some of you at school will have seen the tricycles, which would be the bikes with the free wheels on it. So triangle. Triangles have, so let's see, well actually, what is it that we can actually say about the triangle? So have a little look at it quickly, and then we're going to move on and we're going to have a little look at some of the facts to see what we can actually say about the triangle. Okay, so fact number one, it has three edges to it. Okay, so the edges are the sort of sides that move, or sort of like you can see just here. So we've got three edges. We also have that it has three corners. Now there is another mathematical term for this that you can use, and for some of you I'd be expecting you to use this, and that's a vertice. Okay, so a vertice is where two or more edges meet. Okay, so there are some 3D shapes that you might actually think has a vertice, but it doesn't. So on one of those, well actually let's see if anyone can give me in any of the comments what shape it is, which 3D shape it is that you look at it, you think that it's got a vertice or a corner, but actually it hasn't. So remember that definition, it's three edges, two or more edges that actually meet to make a vertice. Now, so we've got that one there. So we've got a triangle, so it has three edges or three sides, and it has three corners or vertices. Little extra thing for some of you, can anybody tell me, or does anybody know one of the other facts to do with triangles? And it is something to do with the angles of a triangle. Okay, so something to do with the triangles. And for some of you, that's a little bit of an extra thing, and maybe you can let me know in comments what you think the answer to that one is. Okay, so time for you to have a little practice now. So what I've got on the screen is another shape for you. What I would like you to do is have a practice. First of all, can you name the shape? How many edges does it have? How many corners or vertices does this shape have? I'm not going to give you too long on this one here, so probably just about 10 seconds, and we will go through it and see if you got this one right. Okay, so if you were able to say that this one was a square, you were correct. How many edges does the square have? And it is 4. Okay, so how many corners does the square have? For this one, might think you're having a bit of deja vu, but actually you can say 4. Okay, so we have 4 edges or 4 sides and 4 corners or vertices. Okay, we've got another one for you here. Slightly more tricky for some of you, but see if you can tell me, first of all, what shape this is, how many edges it has, or sides, and how many corners or vertices this shape has. Okay, so well done. So if we have a little look, let's start off, because sometimes with shapes like this, you have to actually count the number of sides or the number of edges that it has to work out what the shape is. So what I'm going to do is we are going to go around quickly and I'm just going to try it. Now I'm drawing this with my mouse, so it's not going to be very good. I apologise for that, but we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so how many edges does this shape have? And the answer is 5. Cool, so if we've got 5 edges there, I'm going to go round and we will have a look again and see if we can work out how many vertices it has, or corners. Okay, I'm going to draw this one in red just so it makes a big difference. So we've got 1, 2, oops, sorry about that, 2 there, 3, 4, and 5. So we've got 5 corners or vertices on this shape. Does anybody know what this shape is called? What I'm going to do is I'm going to let you let me know in the comments, or maybe you can add it to your piece of work at the end there. So you can comment both on the YouTube video and you can comment on the on your class page as well, just towards the bottom there. See if you can let me know. So yeah, what shape do we think this one is? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to move on. Very sorry, each time I look down I'm just looking at my iPad because that's what I'm using to control the different sort of camera angles and stuff like that. Okay, so this one here, this is a little picture of a little corner of my room. So here you can see that we've got various items that are around here. Now, for those people who I'm giving the extra challenge to, even in this picture, there is a really, in fact there's a couple of them, but there's one that you can see really clearly, really good example of a 3D shape that is included in this picture. But what I want you to do is just have a little look at it for the moment. I'm going to make it slightly bigger on your screens for you, and I'd like you to have a look and see if you can identify or spot any 2D shapes for most of you in here, and then for some of you there's going to be a little bit of an extension at the end to see if you can actually identify any 3D shapes. For those people who are wondering what it is on top of the speaker, it's actually a little model of an Anderson shelter that my son made at school a while ago, before all of this started. So there you go. Right, okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to come back again. If we have a look here, now I brought up some shapes to help us out. So all of these shapes that you can see in between here, so we've got our circle, we've got our square, we've got our rectangle, and we have got our oval. The oval's a little bit more tricky because it's not immediately obvious, but there is an oval there. are present in this picture. Okay, so some of the things that we've got is, if I just borrow this one here quickly, we can see that the record is actually a nice round shape. So that would be an example of a circle. We have also got here the record cover or the record sleeve, and that one is a square shape. Can anybody else see any other circles that are actually in this picture? Okay, so there are some more. Some of you might have spotted them here. It's 1, 2. In fact, there's more than 3, 4. If you look really carefully, there are actually lots and lots of circles on this speaker that is just sitting here. We have got a rectangle sort of here on the front of the speaker. You can't see all of it, but there's one on the side there. The actual record player itself, if I turn this around, and it won't exactly match because of the way that sort of pictures look when you do that, but you can see there that the top of the record player is actually a rectangle as well. Now we do have, like I said, an oval in here. Some of you might think it's a circle, but it's actually been slightly squashed, and this one here I've used a little bit of, I'm being very pernickety here. It's probably slightly more like that, but actually on top here our exercise mat, which has been rolled up, isn't a perfect circle. It's actually slightly squashed, and that's actually a little bit of an oval. Now on here as well there is a 3D shape, and this will be a little bit of a challenge for some of you to see if you can work out. There's more than one 3D shape, but there's a really obvious one. And as a little clue, if I were to say a certain name of a particular type of electronic assistant or voice assistant, then that might give you a clue where to look. See if you can see some of the other shapes as well, which are in the environment. Okay, so what we are going to be doing is I'm going to be asking you to have a little look in the environment around you. So there are some sheets. Now these will be in your class folders, okay? It's all going to be as one big document, so you only need to print off the sheet that will be the relevant level for you, or if you're grown up watching this, a relevant level for your child. Okay, so we have got one here. So you can see this one here, you can actually do as a nice little tick box exercise. It's got examples of the shapes that may well be in the environment around you. Obviously some will be more obvious than others, but what you can do is you can go around and just sort of see if you can identify which shapes are present in the environment around you. We have got another one here, so this is sort of like the mid-level one, so you can see that they need to identify the shape themselves first of all, and then sort of say how many, and then for our last one here we have got slightly more advanced. So we've got the shape, the number of vertices, which if you remember is a number of corners, which is where two or more edges meet, and the number of edges and where it was found. Okay, this also has a little bit of an extension, so on the end of this sheet here is actually looking at identifying some 3D shapes as well, and the last bit on that one there is changed from where it was found to the number of faces that that 3D shape has. Okay, so if you've got any boxes left over from Christmas presents, bits and pieces like that, anything like that will be a really good example of where you may find these items or these elements. Okay, brilliant. Right, well, thank you very much for joining me on this. I hope that you have a really good time trying to do this. So although this is a learning exercise, it is also meant to be a little bit fun as well. You might want to bring in a little bit of competition to it, maybe print off 2 copies if there are any siblings in the house, or maybe if you want to have a competition with one of the adults as well, then you can sort of do that. So, who can find the most circles, who can find the most squares, who can find the most rectangles, who can find, have you got any semicircles in your house? Who can find the most ovals? Some of them are slightly more tricky to find than others, but all of these will hopefully give you a really nice time, a really nice activity, sort of being able to find some of these objects around you. Okay, right, well, I really look forward to seeing how you do with this. I really look forward to seeing some of your comments in the chat or on YouTube, and maybe some of your comments on the class pages as well. Remember, if you are looking for the documents, then they will all be available in the class folders for phase 2 classes. Okay, and if you're in a phase 1 class watching this, or a phase 3 class watching this, and you want to actually have one of these as well, I will email a copy so it can be to the people looking after your phases, and you'll be able to actually request one from them if you would like it yourself. Cool, excellent. Have fun doing this. Remember, it's Friday if you're watching this on the day of release, nearly the weekend. So yeah, do some maths, have some fun whilst you're doing it, and yeah, I will see you soon, and take care.